The Cyber Comic Cast provides insight to the academic and personal lives of school community members in Mason City schools during the pandemic. Unlike other podcasts in the educational space, Comic Cast keeps it informative and entertaining as students and staff recount their lived experiences during such a unique time.
COVID was tough, but we got stuff. We ate food because that's our mood. We were sad, but it wasn't that bad because we got to stay home, always on the phone. We watched the news, something about flus, with our family all day, realizing they're all cray, picking up new hobbies in Among Us lobbies, wearing our masks became a daily task.
Hi, my name is Rena. Georgina, that was an amazing poem. What did you think, Amu?
That poem was Gucci, and the part where it said we were sad but it wasn't that bad shows exactly what this episode was about. Silver linings. A silver lining is a good thing that happened in a bad experience or bad event.
My silver lining from COVID is having more time to read, practice my hobbies, and spending more time with my family. How about you, Amu?
My silver linings is having some time for myself, which I definitely needed a lot. Looking up on more hobbies like singing, drawing, tracing, and baking. What about you, Rena?
My silver lining from COVID is that I got to participate in multiple new and fun experiences through online school.
Let's hear from Mr. Fish, a 7th and 8th grade learning coach.
So I'm the kind of guy who doesn't like a beach vacation. For me, there's too much sitting around and that kind of thing. I like to be active, get out, be seeing things, be doing things. And so for much of my life, I would get through the hard parts of life by looking forward to things. I would specifically pick things in my life that I would be looking forward to in order to get me through the dull or difficult parts of life. Going out to a movie, seeing friends, our next great vacation, and then all of a sudden COVID hits and all of that stops. And I had kind of known that I was a person who really focused on things to look forward to in the future, but I didn't realize how much I did that or how important that was until lockdown. And all of these things that I had lived my life looking forward to just stopped on a dime. So I figured out pretty early on in the pandemic that if I'm going to stay mentally healthy, I had to figure out how to shift my perspective on what I was looking forward to, because those big things, those trips, those meals out, those movies and gathering with friends, that just wasn't happening anymore. And so the first several months of the pandemic, I started a journal. And one of the things I did every single day was make a list of things that I could look forward to. Sometimes it was playing a video game or trying a new photography technique, maybe hanging out with my family or playing a game or working on a puzzle. But I had to learn how to look forward to things that I had already been doing the whole time, but maybe didn't appreciate as much as I should have. And that's my silver lining. I've learned to look forward to and appreciate those smaller daily moments and events that had kind of been eclipsed by everything else I was doing before the pandemic. It kind of makes me wonder whether I'd like that beach vacation after all.
Yes, I agree. Looking forward to little things in life may be a little hard, but during the pandemic, we learned to appreciate the small things that we usually took for granted.
Now let's hear from Jackson.
Hey, so I think my silver lining in the global pandemic was just getting to spend more time with my family and learning how to cook. Like baking new stuff, trying new stuff, just getting all of that. We had nowhere to go. So I just baked away with all my time that I had.
Spending time with family was a big silver lining from the pandemic, and spending more time cooking and baking was fun too.
A 7th grade student wrote an essay in language arts about how she found something good from a negative event.
Hi, I am Ellie Price. I am in 7th grade, and the title of my essay is Grief Can Be Good. Imagine a world where everything was perfect. The warm sunshine, the lush grass, the winding sound of the river. Now, imagine a world where you want, or you need, to help someone, make their life better, make everything perfect, but you just can't. That's the world I'm living in. Even though people think that feelings of grief make someone depressed and scared, and at first I thought this as well, but now I know that feeling sadness and grief for someone is okay, especially because right now I am trying to fight a battle. On one side is my grandma. I want to protect her and save her from Alzheimer's disease. But on the other side is my grief. It is taking over me, and I feel the grief because my grandma is not the same fun, easygoing person she once was. I am not sure what side is winning and what side is losing. I believe that feelings of grief are completely normal and sometimes even good. Sure, feeling sad and alone can make you feel pretty bad, but it is important to understand that life is filled with all kinds of ups and downs. And those feelings of grief you get when a loved one is diagnosed with a disease or dies can help change your perspective on life for the better and prepare yourself for really challenging obstacles you will face. When I was younger, I loved playing hide and seek and eating drumstick ice creams with my grandmother. I still do now, but it just isn't the same. My grandma has Alzheimer's. Alzheimer's is a disease with no cure, and once you get diagnosed, there's no going back to your former life. My grandmother is losing her memory, and her emotions are fine one moment and then horrible and scary the next. She cries and gets really angry sometimes, and yeah, it is kind of scary. She doesn't understand anything anymore. Think of it like this. A 2-year-old has absolutely nothing to grasp onto, nothing to understand, and you have to wait for them to get older and to understand things better. My grandma is that very same 2-year-old, except she won't get better. She's just gone. My grandma isn't the same person she once was, but I still love her more than anything in the world. But sometimes I get scared, or I get sad. I just want to make everything better with the click of my fingers. But the truth is, no matter how hard I try, I can't do anything about it. In life, we get amazing opportunities with the people we love. Once those people we love get sick or die, our feelings of excitement and happiness change. It's hard to have a positive outlook for the rest of your life in that moment when you feel nothing in the world can make your sadness and grief go away. I feel that right now. But I realize that nothing lasts forever. And once my grandmother passes away, I'll feel horrible and sad, but also I might feel relief, and I'll know that she's in a better place now. You see, grief isn't always a bad thing. It can help you understand more about yourself and move you forward in life. I believe that once you accept the grief, you have pushed yourself to the limits. You have done something that takes a lot of time, patience, and tears. This helps me to cherish everything I have in the world, and I hope that, later in my life, my experience with feeling grief for someone will guide me through the tough things in life that we all must do. In the long run, grieving now and advancing in life later can be better for us all. I think that we grieve because it is our body's way of handling trauma. This can give us time to recalculate and become better people. I believe that we all must be able to grieve, and that it can be a good thing too. Then, you will be able to face unimaginable obstacles in life. To be better humans, we sometimes need to take a few steps back, think about what sad and horrible things are holding us back, and let those negative feelings out. I believe that grieving for someone or something, even if they are alive, just changing, can be good. This is what I believe.
Wow, it's really amazing that Ellie was able to find something positive out of a hard event like this.
Now let's hear from Lane.
During the pandemic, I spent more time with my family than I did before the pandemic. I also had more time and ideas for pranks that I can do to my family. I also got more creative with my room and other things. Also got more weight, which my parents are really proud of. Bye. The pandemic definitely gives you more time to do other things, like decorating your room and spending time with family.
Let's hear Mrs. Lanzara's silver lining now.
In the midst of this crazy pandemic, there have been lots of struggles for everybody. and I've had lots of personal struggles as well. But I always like to look at the silver linings. There have been lots of light at the end of the tunnel, but some of the biggest things that stand out to me this year are professionally working with a different group of colleagues. I've had the privilege and honor of working with some amazing people as a virtual staff member this year. Working with those staff members have taught me a lot about myself, have taught me a lot of new teaching methodologies, and have allowed me to build some amazing new friendships. And for that, I am so grateful. When it comes to my students, I have learned so much. I have learned about the power of resiliency. I've learned about willpower. I've learned about goal setting, and I've learned how strong children and teenagers truly are. But the biggest thing that I've realized as a professional is the potential seventh graders have when they come into a classroom. I don't have to hold their hand. I get to be their cheerleader. So as I go into next year, I'm looking forward to changing that mentality and giving them more responsibility and just being able to cheer alongside them as we go through the journey.
Working in an online environment took some time to get used to, but with all the great people to help you and guide you, it was an amazing experience.
Thank you for sharing with us, everybody.
If you have listened to the previous episodes, you probably know that we end every episode with some Mason moments. My Mason moment was doing the podcast meeting in person for the first time and finally getting to meet the people that were part of the podcast.
My Mason moment is when we all went in person for testing. I got to see the people who I met online in person for the first time and got to see my best friends I haven't in over a year. What was your Mason moment, Rena?
My Mason moment is doing the podcast and meeting new people like you guys through it. In this episode, we looked at the silver linings or the positive things about the COVID-19 pandemic.
We hope to talk to you in the next episode. Thanks for tuning in.
Cyber Comic Cast is out!